for more than 60 years.
Metalcore has been the cornerstone of Western life.
And the fighting forces that keep us safe.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of grtv and another episode of grtv in English. Let us just point out once again that we're doing this to reach as many of the Nordic countries, or all of them, at the same time. And of course, let us know what you think. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about one of the big games for Sony this year.
Yeah, Haze.
Haze. And, well, is it as good as they want it to be? Is this actually, and we have to use this word because I love it, is it a Halo killer?
A Halo killer app. No, it's not. I don't know who invented it. I heard that Team Xbox, a rival American site, said that this was a Halo killer. And it's never a good idea to go out and say stuff like that.
But it sounds good.
It sounds good, but for me that means that it's going to sell more than Halo. It's going to get better grades than Halo, and it's going to be remembered more than Halo, or just as much as Halo. None of these three is going to happen for Haze. Haze is a kind of an old gameplay mechanic, first-person shooter that is taking stuff from the Time Splitter stuff that Free Radical did, and not really using any of the stuff that has been done in the last 4 or 5 years in the genre. So it's a step backwards. And for a PlayStation exclusive kind of game, where we've been hearing a lot about PlayStation 3 being the muscle guy that can just throw around polygons that you wouldn't believe. It's a pretty basic kind of game in every sense. So no, it's not a Halo killer in any kind of way.
No, this isn't the first time that happened to Sony either. You had Killzone back on the PS2, which was also hailed as a Halo killer before it was released. And we had Resistance, Fall of Man.
Halo killer.
Yeah, Halo killer, indeed. And we have Haze now.
Yeah.
But graphically?
Graphically, it's not a horrendous game, but it's a problematic game in every kind of way. Because the game has some comedy in it, from a story kind of way, but it goes over into the design of the characters, which was, in Time Splitter, it was all just like tongue-in-cheek stuff. Yeah. But it doesn't really work with a strong story like they want to do in Haze, which is more dark and more sinister in the way it's portrayed. So you have these guys running around with yellow masks, looking like a runaway motorbike guy. I don't know what's up with that. And the levels and the design and basically everything in the game is just like a tad too boring, I would say. It looks a bit like an old Xbox or PlayStation 2 game, somewhere between a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3 game. It's not really a PlayStation 3 game, and there's stuff in the game that you couldn't do on the PlayStation 2. But it's nowhere near the kind of stuff that I would want. And from a first-person shooter game, which the genre actually defines the graphics like Crysis on the PC, it's just never good enough.
No. So the story is not very good, the gameplay is not very good, and the action is not very good? Or
the action is pretty standard, I would say. The AI, the artificial intelligence, is just like, it's there, but it's not really any good, and it doesn't really show off what they should flank you and do different stuff, and they never really tend to do that stuff. And the weapons in the game, not bad. We got variations over the normal pistol, we got the shotgun, we got the rocket launcher and stuff like that, but it's not really inventive, and it's 50 years into the future or something like that. They have to come up with stuff that is really strong, new good weapons and stuff like that. The only gameplay gimmick they actually have is the nectar stuff, which you just pop into your veins and it makes you into this kind of super soldier who can just kill everybody. But again, it's a gimmick. It's more a gimmick than it's something that you can take a whole game and just base it on. So for me, it wasn't really that strong a game, and I think that Free Radical should really sit down and think about what to do next, because the first-person genre right now is Bioshock, it's Half-Life 2, even though it's old, it's Crysis. And it's stuff like that you have to compete with right now, and they don't really compete with it in any kind of way, not on the gameplay, not on the sound, not on the graphics, story-wise, physics. I mean, it's a pretty weak game.
Yeah. So the score will be?
The score is a 6 out of 10. And it goes to 6 out of 10 because of the multiplayer component, which is actually pretty okay. I mean, it's still substandard to the stuff that is being done by Halo, if I have to say it again, and a lot of other stuff that is going on in that genre on the multiplayer modes. There's so much more you can do than you can do in Haze, even though it's got a nice balance to it, and some of the stuff that they used for the story in the game is actually taken into the multiplayer stuff, which is a kind of good idea, but it just really doesn't show off as a strong one. For a PlayStation only kind of guy, I guess it's okay because you haven't tried out all the big games on the different ones, but even just Resistance, the original Resistance, is for me a better online game, or Call of Duty for that matter, than Haze. So no.
So 6 out of 10 for another
6 out of 10.
Halo killer.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say to Free Radical, please make another game with ducks with guns.
Yeah, we would love that.
Because that's...
And monkeys, maybe.
And monkeys with guns, but preferably ducks.
Yeah.
I killed so many ducks in Tank Leader 1.
Oh, yeah.
I dreamt about ducks for weeks. And just suffice to say, we won't be dreaming about Haze anytime soon. Sadly.
And if we do, it's a nightmare, I guess. So.
Yeah, a pretty bland nightmare, sadly. But thank you for listening.
Yeah.